What if the tech powering your phone, your car, even the military's fighter jets could vanish overnight? Not because of war, but because one country holds the key to the materials that make it all possible. Right now, a silent battle is raging over the raw materials that fuel our modern world, and the U.S. is dangerously exposed. This isn't just about gadgets or gas prices, it's about who controls the future. Let's dive into the fight that's reshaping global power. Picture the global supply chain like a mighty river. At its source are raw materials, oil, lithium, rare earths, and lesser-known metals like gallium. These are the lifeblood of everything we rely on. Your smartphone, electric vehicles, 5G networks, even solar panels. They flow through factories, shipping routes, and assembly lines until they land in your hands as polished products. But here's the hard truth. Real power doesn't lie in the finished goods on store shelves. It lies at the source. History shows us that wars aren't fought over retail. They're fought over oil fields, mineral deposits, and farmland. Control the upstream, and you control everything downstream. Right now, that control is slipping away from the U.S. and its allies, and one country is tightening its grip: China. Beijing has quietly built a stranglehold on the critical materials that power the tech of tomorrow. And when the U.S. tried to hit back with sanctions on high-end chips, China didn't blink. They struck at the heart of the supply chain. Take gallium, a metal most people never think about. It's not just a niche resource, it's a game changer. Gallium nitride, derived from this metal, is the secret sauce behind 5G networks, electric vehicles, AI chips, and advanced defense systems. It's smaller, faster, and more energy efficient than older tech, giving a massive edge to whoever masters it. And here's the scary part. China controls up to 98% of the global gallium supply, according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS. When the U.S. tightened chip sanctions in 2025, China retaliated by banning gallium exports. The result? Global prices spiked, supply chains scrambled, and manufacturers were left reeling. This isn't just about one metal, it's about the future of technology. Gallium nitride is revolutionizing industries, and China's using it to leap ahead. Look at Huawei. Despite U.S. sanctions cutting them off from advanced chips, they've harnessed gallium nitride to build 5G equipment that's cheaper, lighter, and more efficient than anything Western companies like Ericsson or Nokia can produce. Huawei's tech needs less cooling and lighter infrastructure, slashing costs and making 5G more affordable worldwide. That means faster internet for billions and a commanding lead for China in the global 5G race. The Pentagon's response shows just how tough this is. Despite U.S. efforts to ban Huawei equipment from communication networks, the Department of Defense has had to request waivers to keep using it. Why? Huawei's tech is often unmatched, and alternatives are either too pricey or less effective. In 5G, China's not just competing, they're a generation ahead thanks to their mastery of gallium nitride and cutting-edge engineering. But it's not just about 5G. Gallium is critical for power management, renewable energy, self-driving cars, and defense systems. A 2021 White House report mentioned gallium 14 times, calling it a cornerstone for U.S. supply chains in semiconductors and clean energy. A 30% disruption in global gallium supply could cost the U.S. economy $62 billion a year, according to CSIS, with ripple effects hitting everything from electric vehicle production to the price of energy-efficient appliances. Your next car, your home's solar panels, even the military's radar systems all depend on this obscure metal. So how did China get such a tight grip? Decades of smart investments in aluminum production, where gallium is a byproduct, have made them a global powerhouse. Picture a chart where China's gallium output is a towering skyscraper, and the rest of the world is barely a speck. The U.S. and its allies are almost entirely dependent on Chinese exports for this critical resource. Without it, industries could grind to a halt, innovation could stall, and national security could take a hit. So how did the U.S. end up in this mess? It's a story of missed opportunities and miscalculations. While the U.S. focused on blocking China's access to advanced chips, it overlooked the upstream, raw materials. It's like damming a river downstream while ignoring who controls the source. China's dominance over gallium and other critical materials exposes a glaring blind spot in America's tech war strategy. When China banned exports of rare earths and critical materials in retaliation, it laid bare the fragility of Western supply chains. A 2023 CSIS report warned that this dependency creates massive hurdles for industries like semiconductors and clean energy. The 2021 White House report echoed the same urgency, calling for diversified supply chains and stronger domestic production. But progress is painfully slow. Building alternative sources for gallium requires years of investment, new technology, and infrastructure. Meanwhile, China's lead only grows stronger. Huawei's dominance in gallium-based tech makes this even tougher. With over 2,000 patents in this field, they're setting the pace. American companies are struggling to keep up, limited by both raw material access and technological breakthroughs. This raises big questions. How can the U.S. compete when its supply chains rely so heavily on a rival? And what does this mean for America's role as a global tech leader? The fallout goes beyond geopolitics. A disrupted gallium supply could slow the shift to clean energy, as solar panels and wind turbines rely on gallium-based components for top-tier efficiency. It could delay self-driving car development, hike the cost of consumer electronics, and weaken defense systems. The U.S. is fighting a tech war without securing its supply lines, a risky move that could shift the global balance of power for decades. China's export bans are more than a reaction, they're a power move. Controlling raw materials gives nations unmatched leverage. When the U.S. says, "We won't sell you advanced chips," China can hit back by cutting off the materials needed to make those chips. It's a tit-for-tat strategy that exposes a hard truth. The U.S. underestimated China's ability to weaponize its resource dominance. Did policymakers assume China wouldn't push back? Or did they overlook the upstream entirely? Either way, the consequences are real. If China tightens its grip further, entire industries could face roadblocks. Innovation could stall, prices could spike, and America's tech leadership could take a lasting hit. The stakes are sky high. From clean energy to autonomous vehicles, the race for the future hinges on materials like gallium. The challenge isn't just about catching up in 5G or securing gallium supplies. It's about rethinking how we compete. In a world where controlling resources dictates economic and technological power, standing still isn't an option. The U.S. needs to invest in domestic production, diversify supply chains, and innovate faster. But time's running out, and China's not waiting. This isn't just a story about metals. It's about who controls the future. The global supply chain is a battlefield, and the fight for critical materials like gallium could reshape economies, industries, and even your daily life. What's next? Can the U.S. close the gap, or will China's grip tighten? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every one. If this story opened your eyes to the hidden forces shaping our world, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more deep dives. The race for control is on. Don't miss what happens next.